Hello and welcome. I'm so excited. I'm here today with Mia Luciano from Ricardo Sagrado and Jenny Hampton from Spirited Treasure or Inner Flame, whichever you want me to say. Both and.
Both and.
Both and. And I'm Amanda B, if you don't know me, from Barney and Flo. And we just thought we would get together. We haven't talked in a while, and we've never talked all together. We like
No.
talked in groups of two with each other. So it's kind of fun to do all three of us. I reached out to Jen first and I was like, I kind of keep getting a hit that it would be fun to do a new paradigm call and like get Mia on too and like just do it all together. So I'm super excited because I feel like there's so much going on and the orientation piece is so important and it can be hard sometimes for people to stay there. I feel like these calls
Yeah.
like give me life when I watch someone else because it's just like, oh, like now you're giving me things to be excited about and new ways to think about things. So we're just gonna riff. We don't really have a plan. We all have little things that we kind of mark down to be like, this might be fun to talk about, but yeah, how are you guys doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, it's wild energy. Like I'm good, but like wild energies, right? We have the eclipse. We have a hurricane maybe on its way to us on Big Island or the whole Hawaiian island chain. We'll see what happens this weekend. I know there's like just a lot of like fire energy. Well, the volcano's going off here too. So yeah, such an energetic time, right? But I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I've just been kind of focusing on like health and kind of recalibrating in this time of the shift. I don't know. Yeah, how about you, Jen? How are you doing?
I feel the same. I feel the same. I mean, we've had a lot going on in our own like personal life, family life, so it's been sometimes hard to kind of check in with the collective energy, but it just feels like the summer went so fast. And yes, like the eclipse is like it just like brings everything to the surface and you're like, "Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. I should probably look at that." Um
Yeah.
And Amanda and I have had conversations like there's just been like days or sometimes like a period of a week where it's just like you've just been absolutely exhausted. And I just think like when I tap in, it's like, man, we just have so much. Like not only are we getting energies that are coming in, but we are so much like really letting go of things that I don't even think we realize we're letting go of. And
Yeah.
we're just like really like our bodies are just like, whoa, we need to be in like a deep sleep mode, but like we can't be in a deep sleep mode. So it's like operating when you're supposed to be in a deep sleep mode, it feels like. So that's where
It's
I'm
so
at.
No, that totally resonates. I've had moments too where I'm just like, why do I want to take like I'm not a napper person, but I'm like, I feel like I need to just nap for a minute. Like I'm exhausted and it's not normal. Yeah, I get that too.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes we talk a lot about like what's happening or I do on the world stage and all those things, but it's like, yeah, it's all happening in our own lives and personally too. It's just a mirror. So it's yeah, I'm feeling that too. A major time of transformation.
Yes.
Like upgrades,
Agreed.
which is not always fun. Sometimes it is, but mostly it's intense.
We're like, whoa. That's how
Oh,
it feels. That's
really?
how it feels. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I've taken a nap almost every day this summer, honestly.
Yeah.
And I was not a napper before either. And oftentimes I don't sleep. I just like lay down for 10 to 15 minutes and close my eyes and just like recharge because I feel like if I don't do it, I like can't even think straight, which I've partially written off to we're in triple digits and have been for like a while. It's just so hot. You walk out the door to walk at like
Yeah.
6:30 in the morning and you're already sweating. So I
Yeah.
think that is draining too, but I do feel like there's been a lot with upgrades. And that actually leads me to a topic
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Where'd she go?
right before.
Oh,
Wait.
wait.
Okay, so Jen and I talked about this a while back because I feel about this, but how do you feel about this? Uh, with the GLP-1s, there was like, oh no, am I okay? It says my connection is unstable.
It
You
was weird for a
froze.
minute, but you came through and I think we got it. You want to talk about the GLP ones, yeah?
Yeah, people send me stuff that other astrologers or human design people say all the time and are like, what do you think about this? And so there was something said about GLP-1s being part of the upgrades in the sense of like a way to get people to eat less food because we're going to eat less food in the future. And the thing is, it's always felt like so negative to me. Like they were like, maybe it's positive because it's just like helping people eat
Well,
less.
No.
it's
And
like,
then I saw something today that said that the peptides were just like, the Flexner and the Rockefeller thing, like they're trying to keep us from it. And like they're going through FDA trials now, and that we should be looking at peptides the same way that we look at homeopathy or these things because uh pharma's trying to
well,
like squash it or whatever, but it is pharma. And
it is
I just
farming.
feel like my intuitive leaning is always like, look at some of these people that are on them and how gaunt they look, or like the fact that people have died from these things. I don't think that would be part of like where we're going in the new energy, but I would love to hear your thoughts.
I'm sure we all have so many thoughts, but I guess first I got to do a shout out to I think we're all friends with Jess.
Yes,
Again,
yes.
Alex Hesser. Go check her out on Instagram or look up her Substack because she is brilliant. She is really good at deep dives. She's very awake, and she is somebody that will really go deep into a topic. I think she's like a 5-1 in human design. And she wrote what I don't know if she released the whole 30-page paper, but she basically did a 30-page very deep research paper on the GLP-1s, on the peptides and stuff. So if you're on the fence or anybody's wondering, I would first go and read that. It's a great resource and it brings up a lot of issues. And she also shows, like, for one thing, what came through when you're talking is like most of the research for these came from the
Yeah,
Gates Foundation, from
yeah, the
Gates. So,
science.
and
Yeah.
they are actually indeed pharma. So that people, when people have that, use that argument, it doesn't make sense, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
that's what I had said to Amanda. She texted me and was like, "What are your thoughts on this?" And I was like, I'm gonna be really blunt and honest here, but when I tap into the new paradigm, every single aspect that I get, whether it's technology based or completely natural, is there's a coherence, which means if it is technology, it is in coherence with the natural world. And so when we are going to be upgrading, there's not going to be anything that we're taking that is minimizing or destroying another organ or another part of our body to optimize one thing within us. So I get a hard no. I really do. I get a hard no on the GLP-1s. I think, Amanda, we were talking about this the other day about med beds and stuff like that. Like the med beds, what I see is such a coherence. It is really about cell rejuvenation, which happens on a natural level. I can't speak to the scientific because I don't have that background, but like to me, what I see makes sense.
yeah.
So I just
Holographic and frequency technology,
yeah,
apparently, to keep it brief.
plasma,
Mhm.
which is the natural world. Like, yeah, it definitely, there's a level of coherence. And even though I have gotten that our diet will probably change, will that be in the next 50 to 100 years? I don't know. That might be within 500 years. I have no idea. But I don't think that we have to like prepare ourselves. I think like what we are going through naturally as a species, it will just start to happen organically. We don't have to
Yeah.
inject anything or take anything to like make it happen.
And
I don't know.
I
That's
find it sorry, go ahead.
no,
Yeah,
no,
no, I,
that's
I
yeah.
totally, I totally agree with you. And I find it really interesting because certain things I'm tuning into right now, just on a personal level. And I usually find like my personal journey, I'm like, oh, of course I'm tuning into this. This is so relevant to the collective. And it's a little bit, I don't want ahead, but it is. And then I'll see how it feeds into like what's coming in a way. So like I've gone really deep into metabolic health and I'm still learning, so I don't know how articulately I can talk about it. But what now I see with like the GLP-1s is like essentially it's messing with your it's like kind of like it's like a shortcut to healing your metabolic health, right? So the problem is that if people go on these, then um they're worse off on the other side, let
Yeah.
alone all of the side effects and the people who, are not passing away. There's a lot of messiness with it, but even just at a base level, if you look at how they work and you're actually learning about metabolic health, it's like, oh, that doesn't really make sense because I'm going to have to fix
Yeah.
that core problem on the other side anyway. And if I do this, there'll be more damage. And then I still have to fix the core problem. So from someone who, for me, it's like, I wish I would love for that. If it checked out, I would try it because I love, new things and leading edge health. But to me, yeah, like you're saying, the med bed technologies, things like that are in alignment with, nature, I guess. And this stuff just feels like it's a shortcut. And yeah, there are going to be negative effects. So I just unfortunately I get a no too. I know they're so popular, but I don't see good things. And what's interesting also about if you really start to learn about metabolic health, and there's been so many I mean, we've been through so much programming and so much
Yeah.
control opposition. It's like a mess, right? Even a lot of the things I thought were healthy before, I'm like, oh, I was wrong. Like I didn't
Yeah.
understand. And it's like
Same.
it's like another whole rabbit hole, right? And it keeps going. So I've been like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ray Peat. He's a really brilliant, yeah. So essentially you can look into Ray Peat, but it's this whole realizing that like sugar to start isn't bad for us, and that what we're kind of how we're viewing our whole metabolic health is kind of been incorrect. And in a way, it also I'm bringing it up because it kind of leads into that conversation about will our diet change? It's like, well, there are a lot of people that say, actually, we're going to eat less. We're going to be more light filled beings because we are light filled beings as our like, that we're going to exist more in that way and that we also used to before the fall. And so maybe we'll just be eating fruit, or things like that, much lighter. And if you go into kind of the way, Ray Peat talks about things, he's not someone who gives like a rigid diet, but a lot of it to me is like, oh, we actually would thrive more on eating a lot of fruit and more sugars. And that's not what we've been told. And so
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know, just things are coming in that even are like you're saying, kind of maybe naturally leading us to evolve in that way, even just this information. But we don't actually need the GLP-1s to do it. It's like if we actually just sit and like ask for the information, it's going to start to come through and we can get there naturally.
I think
There's like a
that's the
whole
key.
other to
Oh,
that.
geez.
Oh, Jen first. There's
You're
like a
good.
whole other layer to that too that I feel like, I mean, there is a conversation about GLP-1s like being part of the bifurcation, and I don't know how I feel about that either, but I do think it's weird like that there's this lack of desire piece that they're also
Yes.
programming,
Okay, so
not just
that's
like,
huge. Yes.
yeah.
I have, okay, so sorry, I don't want to like dog,
Yeah,
but
go
like,
ahead.
yes, I just tuned into this morning because Jess sent me a video this morning and it was this woman talking about how she went on she said a side note was that she's a former addict and healing her and has been in healing for that. And she works for a care company that works with peptides now. She's like, oh, I'll try it. So she tries a GLP-1 and she said immediately she started to feel a loss of passion. Like a lot of exciting things were happening in her life, but she couldn't access the feeling. Like she couldn't access her own excitement. She felt just like weird and dull. And I was like, oh my God. The one time that I tried I was prescribed a lot of SSRIs when I was young, and I lied and I didn't take them except for one time. I took Prozac for a few days, and that's how I felt a couple days into the Prozac. So I do think that that was kind of part of the transhuman agenda, and that really underscores it, what you brought up, Amanda, to me.
Yeah, I feel like that too. I mean, I don't know, like it's complicated, right? Like I've studied repeat for a long time. I did like pretty because I used to be very rigid with things. Like I would be vegan and then I would be, raw vegan and then I would be pro metabolic and I would like go hard with everything. Like I didn't really have a lot of balance with my Scorpio energy. And so I went hard with pro metabolic for a while and like the dairy part of it doesn't really work for my system and ovarian cysts and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the fruit, like when I started drinking orange juice again, I felt like, oh my God, it gives me life because I've never been someone who like I drink kombuchas, I drink juice all the time. because I don't feel hydrated by water unless I'm making like nettle infusions and like marshmallow root infusions. Like water just doesn't really cut it for me. And I do think, you know, like when we go to the beach and we like spend a day in the sunshine and you come home and you eat less food, it's because you are
Yeah.
charged up by light. Like I do
Yeah.
think we're electric beings, and I do like I think med beds are going to be doing so many cool, crazy, amazing,
Mhm.
surgical and amputee type
Very.
things.
Yeah.
But I also like when I tune into like the first layer of them, I think of it like if you guys know Eileen McCusick's work, she's like a biofield tuner. It's like the idea that you remove everything that's not, all the trapped trauma, all the trapped emotions, all the like static in your field, and then your body just gets to like come back to coherence. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily like I feel like programming something or like doing something.
Right.
It's like extracting all the conditioning and like shit that's like getting in the way of your body's innate magic. And then people will just start to come into balance because of that. And then obviously all the cool anti-aging technology and all the other things that are coming. But
Well,
one of the other things that I've heard is like, there's a lot of talk about being awake right now. And like there's a lot of things attached with that I'm watching like little areas split off in each, like even in the wellness communities, like people who are like, well, if you're still eating meat, then you're not enlightened yet because we wouldn't be eating meat if we were enlightened. And that's Ray Peat is very much a meat guy. Like he's like basically meat and potatoes and fruit. And I don't know, like when I think about where we're going into like a higher frequency of love, I hope we don't have to. I hope our bodies don't have to. It's always been
Well,
hard for me too, but I don't know how long that takes.
I personally get it's going to be really different for everybody. And I think that I literally think the vibration is rising. And so I think for people, I think we're having a lot of shifts right now. I mean, my diet's shifting right now. Right now, I'm eating a lot of fruit and I'm not eating a lot of meat. And I'm like, what? So it's like, I think it's all individual and we're all kind of on our own timeline. I see it that way. Um, and so I think it's really important to kind of tune in and refine. And, when you said that part about resetting, that's how I see the med beds really working to a large degree, is resetting back to our divine blueprint. Because when we don't have those toxins and we don't have those disruptors, and the DNA is like, or whatever we want to call it,
natural.
right? And like, yeah, then we're not really supposed to, aging isn't really a thing. We're gonna be full of vitality. So it's like, that is to me what it is, what you described.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
I
noticed I've
think
eaten a lot less. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think the one thing that we should keep in mind is that there are no experts right now. There are no experts on what we're going through right now. There's no one that we can like turn to that's going to like have all the answers, because we as a species, like at least for this, like how many generations we've never gone through something like this. And so there's nobody who's like, yes, they have all the answers. So I think like what Mia was
Right.
saying, it's like so important to tune in to like, what does your body need? And I think that's also like where we kind of get hung up, because hormones are different, our bodies are different, our emotions are all different. Like we all will get something different, even if we're all doing the same exact thing. It is not a one size fits all. And so it definitely right now to me is not a one size fits all at all, because we don't even have all the information. It is like literally fly by the seat of your pants.
And it's all about becoming like sovereign. So what you're
Yes.
describing is like, that's like kind of the whole point
Yep.
of a lot of things, to me, a lot of things happening around to bring us into our sovereignty. So you trust, yeah, so you go and trust
You
yourself and
trust
you're
what,
like, yeah, what you
yep.
said. So
Yeah.
And I channeled the whales a while ago, which was like very surprising. I got very like a lot of information that I was not expecting to get. And they did say that we would eat meat for a little bit. I mean, and they also said that we would come back into, because right now everything is, you know, mass production. And so as we move away from mass production and really move back into a coherence, the whales, I believe, I'd have to go back and watch, but it was like we would be able to come back into like the honor, like, when we take something's life, we honor the life that has been given to us to nourish us. And so I think
Right.
that would be, I'm not saying that we would be all going out and killing our food, but I am saying that we would be on such a smaller scale where it isn't these slaughterhouses and mass production, that there's an honor that can come back into it until we can until we upgrade to a point where maybe things change. That's what I got for a while. And that's what I'm kind of really hoping for, for those of us who might not be ready to be fruitarians or,
Right.
you know.
But also like, and I'm forgetting what they're called, but I wrote a Substack about it and it was in there. But also we're moving into high technology where all the quantum technology is going to be released. And so I was told by somebody in the know that we are going to have what are they called? I mean, they were essentially like in Star Trek because they loved, they show us all these technologies. And it, where it like basically manifests the food. Um,
Yes.
I can't think of the name, but essentially, and first time I heard that, I thought, ew, that's gross. Like, what is it being made from? And like, I don't want to eat that. If it's meat, like that feels really weird, right? But then I'm talking to this person about it, and he's like, okay, well, think about the most expansive version of that, though. It's like, well, what if it was literally, you're literally manifesting through the quantum through a device that creates whatever you want. So it's going to be as expansive as you are interacting with it. So if you, in essence, were saying, well, can I have the most high vibrational, steak or wine with grapes from this region, biodynamic, whatever you can come up with, to ask for that, essentially you're going to be met with that frequency level of a product or a thing. So he was actually like, we're gonna have meat from that too if people want it, and it actually
Okay.
isn't going to be gross. And so I had to
Right.
really sit with that for a while, and then I was like, okay, right, interesting.
That
It's
is
not Bill Gates'
interesting.
lab meat. Like
Yeah,
Not
it's
not
Bill
Bill
Gates.
Gates. But
yeah.
then that also reminds me of like when the portals and we can just be like, hey, you guys want to meet in Greece and we can go have like a good steak and the wine from the
We'll be doing that and that too. Yes, personal portal travel. I am so
Yep.
ready.
Meet you
Yeah.
guys here too.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, I've struggled with eating meat my whole life. Like I have literally every single astrological placement for loving animals. Like it's like so hard for me. And when I went vegan, I was one of those vegans that it was like my identity. And I watched all the scary documentaries and I
Uh,
like did the whole thing. And when I had to go back because I really wasn't healthy, that was really hard. And so I've been playing with it recently of like, I've wanted less meat. And I've been like, am I just going through a phase? Or is
mhm.
this like some kind of part of the upgrades where I'm just wanting less and I'm
Oh no.
wasn't okay before with my constitution. So
Well,
it's been interesting.
I think I'm finding information more right now that's making me feel like different about how I used to view veganism too, because I've tried all the things too, and it didn't feel good to me when I did it. But also now I have a different perspective because I look more at like supporting digestion and again metabolic health and a lot of the Ray Peat stuff. But like that's even he was never rigid, so you can really just look at how he's talking about how the body deals with glucose and sugar and all of that, and
We're
so
all eating our raw
essentially,
carrot salads.
yeah.
Yeah. They're
Um,
very filling, by the way.
Yeah, that like I have a girlfriend who I'll joke, I'm like, you're the only person I know that's vegan that's like thriving. And she is, and she's in her late 40s. And so I think there's still this a thing that's like even in our culture, it's like they would give us things and there's always a distorted version, right? So
Mhm.
the vegan that I was doing and then a lot of people are doing doesn't really make sense with how our bodies operate, I feel like. So yeah, we kind of felt like crap and our health went down. But when I see how this woman is doing it, or I see there's one woman online, I'm gonna forget her handle, but she's really thriving and she's obviously aware of the repeat stuff and she talks about metabolic health a lot. And she is essentially um vegan, but the way she's doing, she's in her late 40s too. She's thriving and I believe her, So I feel like it's like there's just distortion upon distortion and
Yeah.
upon distortion, and it's like again, there's so many layers. Like, are you getting light in your eyes? Are you outside? Are you, there's so many factors. So
Yeah.
basically no wonder it's just been confusing for everybody though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, my next thing was actually something Jen asked me. So Jen texted me one day and was like, "What do you think about this?" And I have been thinking about it a lot because it's one of those things that I'm seeing split in the spaces. It's like there was like a big split and there was during 2020 and then people who I kind of aligned with a lot are that those are splitting too now into lots of different fractals where you're like, "Oh wow, we're not on the same page with this. That's so interesting." And like seeing where you still align with people. Not that I need to agree with everybody about everything. I don't, but it's just fascinating to watch like things still kind of split off in interesting ways. And one of the things, I mean, I've seen this in the new age spaces probably forever. Like even I used to work in the NFL and people will be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you like talk about sports and spirituality at the same time. Like, how can you be those two things, like enjoy football and also like be who you are, you know?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm a messy."
Multifaceted.
Yeah, I got an Aries moon. I don't know what to tell you. Uh, but I've seen it with Hollywood too. It's like there's a lot of people in the spiritual spaces now being like, well, I don't watch TV anymore. And like, obviously, I'm awake and I don't binge watch Netflix and I don't do this and I don't do that. And I think it's really interesting because obviously, especially with with the nodes in on the Leo Aquarius axis now, I feel like we're really going to ramp up the disclosure around leadership, around celebrities, around all of that stuff. And I do know there's a lot of darkness in Hollywood. I also worked there for 14 years and didn't encounter it, you know? And like, and I know a lot of people who still work in Hollywood who haven't encountered it. So not every person you're watching on TV is like, you know,
Dark.
dark
Yeah.
side of the spectrum. Uh, but I think like, I do think things will be changing. I think Hollywood's going to go through a reckoning and like I'm curious to see what comes out on the other side. But I don't think art is going, you know, like people who are like, "Oh, you can't be watching TV and like be awake right now." I think it's such like boo-poo. I don't know. I just like I think you can have your own sovereignty and autonomy and like still be a part of storytelling and art and like
Yeah.
I don't think that's going away. I just think maybe the way that we do it is going to
Will
look
change.
different. I'm
Yeah.
curious your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you
I
think it's that bad?
well, I mean, it was, I would look at it this way. If you know what social engineering is and you've gone really deep into that, and then you understand the Tavistock Institute and how, and about culture creation, then I would say, in my, I've come to the conclusion that essentially Hollywood was created for culture creation and, in a
Hmm.
sense, mind control and social engineering. Does that mean it's all bad? And does that mean we have to throw out the baby with the bathwater? I don't think so, but I think that can be true, and then there can be beauty in it as well. And it's my personal opinion that the reckoning has already happened for the most part
Yeah.
behind the scenes. So
Right.
a lot of
But I mean
those people
publicly.
yeah,
Yeah.
that we see on the world stage aren't really there anymore. And they're there for the purpose now of helping to awaken the public, and that the major, media companies that were guilty of crimes against humanity, and most were taken over by the military from Executive Order 13818. So a lot of the new programming, when I watch it, because I'm curious, I don't watch a lot, but I'm like, well, I heard this is good. I'm going to see it. And then I will like note all of the deprogramming aspects of it. They're subtle, but
Mhm.
there
Yeah.
used to be programming, and now I'm seeing deprogramming in these shows.
Yes.
So I feel like I have a unique opinion of it regardless, so that's how, and I think it is going to change more and more. And as we just move into a higher frequency, and become more about high vibrational, things,
Content.
upliftment rather than,
Pain
trying.
points.
Yeah, man, because before I do think it was with the purpose of social engineering, but also helping us to manifested the dystopia, the timeline that the elite had wanted. So, but we're shifting out of that. So it's like all different. And that's the thing. It's like everybody's on their own point of this awakening journey. So some people might need to still look at it like that because they're waking up and like, that's fine. And we're where we are, and that's fine. So I'm not like judging, but that's like
Right.
where I'm at with it.
Do you still think there will be a like a public reckoning in those spaces, or do you think,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
there has to be, right?
100. Well, yeah, because it's already happened, I mean, and Jen, I feel like we've talked about a lot this in
We
our
did.
videos, but yeah, it's like it already happened. And I say this, and I think people think it's like a joke, like I'm kind of joking, and I am because it's funny to say it, but I just shared something post that was like, it's all will happen because I know it's going to happen because it already happened. And it's like, no, like literally there have been tribunals going on for years now. And yes, we might not see all of it, but every time I ask, I get that, yes, it's really important that there needs to be like a public perp walk. That's how they think of it. And it's part of the agreement as we move into the new financial system and the new, since it is a new world order, it's just not the new world order. It's a better world order. But as we move into
Yeah.
that, there are peace treaties and financial treaties. And as the agreement went, it was very important to the foundational organizers of this that the public sees enough to really get it, to really see like a Hillary Clinton being walked across the stage, um, and why, so oh yeah, I believe that's happening for sure.
Do you
And
think that'll
also
come?
a
Go
form
ahead,
of
Jen.
closure. Sorry. Like
No,
just
you go ahead.
that like a form of closure, you know? So not only processing and like, oh wow, this was real, this is why this is happening, but then also like closure, knowing
Yeah.
that
Yeah, because
you
we're gonna move into a new, it's not gonna, we're in this moment right now, and I know some people think it's just gonna last forever and we're being bamboozled still, but we're not, in my opinion, we're not. And yeah, we're gonna move into a new phase and it will be like rebuilding and create creativity, and it's gonna shift. And then a lot of people will have to kind of catch up emotionally, mentally to what they've and absorb it, but a lot of us will be fully creating the new at that point, just running
yeah.
with it. Yeah.
Do you think, because I've always kind of felt like well, I really thought the financial system was going to have shifted already. Like, maybe it was like, sometimes it's hard to like Jen and I talk about this all the time. Sometimes it's hard to totally parse out your wishes and hopes from your intuitive leanings. I see
Yeah.
something in astrology and like I'm filtering that through my own lens, and you're just like, ooh, I see this. Maybe this could totally be the financial shift. Maybe this is it. And I really thought late spring, early summer, we might see something. But uh, I always kind of thought that would happen before massive disclosures, just to give humanity some stability a little bit before. I mean, I know it's going to be destabilizing, but also eventually stabilizing. Or do you think, no? Do you think it's going to happen together, or do you think it's going to happen disclosure before and then? I mean, they keep farting around with this Clarity Act thing, but now the SEC is saying we'll make the rules. Like, we don't really care if you guys pass, pass the thing or whatever. So I'm not sure if it's going to happen in a different way than maybe some of us were thinking it would happen.
We don't need all that. Like we're not even, it's like all a show because
Hmm.
we're not in the maritime law system anymore. It's like it's already fallen behind the scenes. So a lot of that is to bring the public through this portal of change. And I really think they're tuning into the frequency of the collective constantly, and kind of it's some things we loop on because it's like not time yet. It's like the collective, they don't feel like it's ready yet, but it's like right there. It's all set up behind the scenes. The new financial system is all right there. I mean, I don't know what you see, Jen, but I see like any minute now because they're publicly now talk things that I was talking about maybe like 3 years ago are highlighted in the public conversation right now, like
Okay.
Iraq's financial changes and stuff they're publicly talking about Iraq reevaluating their currency, and they're the linchpin of the global currency revaluation. So it's like right there.
Yeah.
I agree. And what's also interesting is like we're seeing right now that there's I don't know, that like this is going around that the housing market is going to collapse and it's going to be worse than it was in 2008. And I think that's very interesting too, because that might feel really scary, but it could also be another way to usher in like a whole new system where we aren't
Yeah,
paying, paying these lifelong mortgages. So of
yeah,
course they're going to look at it as like a crash, but I don't know. I think that's a really hard question to answer though too, Amanda, because it's like it does keep switching. And I
it does.
think that's also what like I always say this too, like about people. People are like, oh, well, this medium couldn't get it right. And it's like that's just like not how energy works. It is not a straight arrow. It is you constantly have to check. That's why we call it intuition. We constantly have to do check-ins. And so I think it's hard to kind of figure out like when it's all going to happen. I said to Amanda all the time, I'm like, Part of me is like very hopeful, but then a part of me also is like, it's not the time. And I don't want to get my hopes up. You know what I mean? So like this cynicism of like, it's not gonna happen.
I think we affect it too when we're so tied
Yeah.
into that energy. So it's better to just kind of release it and know it's happening. And I think it's different to knowing that it's a military operation and personally kind of being in contact with somebody working on it that I'm in touch with a lot. So it anchors it in a different way where I see how hard they're working and how many moving parts there are, and then also the consciousness of the collective. And it's like I track all of that. So then yeah, for me, I'm like, oh my God, really? I thought it was going to happen already. Like, I'm so ready. And we've been awake for so long, but also you see more and more how people are waking up the
Yep.
way that they're doing it. Like, it's brilliant. So I just have to, yeah, I trust that. And I think it's basically like kind of in the hands of God and consciousness and the military, which I know is trippy for people, but it's just what it is. Uh,
Yeah. It's
yeah, we're
not
like, yeah, but it's so close. And yeah, I think it's going to be all kind of at once. I don't know. I think when the money stuff shifts, it's going to be a massive drama because they want to wake people up with that crash.
yeah.
It's not going to hurt people. Everyone's going to be okay, but they want it to to wake up people. And what wakes up people? Money,
Yeah.
So it's going to be dramatic, but it will be okay. And then it will shift. And I think then a lot of the other things like whether the emergency broadcast happens then and they tell the staff or after that they tell the staff, but it's all to do it in the most harmonious way for the collective as possible. I know it doesn't feel like that to people, but it really is. So I think yeah, like are constantly tuning into fine tuning that. So we don't know. And I think only a couple of people know.
Yeah. I do
Agree.
feel like it, I mean, I do agree with you. Like, as hard as it is sometimes to be like, oh my God, like, you're talking about years of going, maybe now,
Yep.
maybe now.
Well,
Uh, I do think it's brilliant. And you watch like the waves of people waking up and the different layers of it and like how people are waking up. And some people are waking up and like, they don't even know that they're waking up. It's just all of a sudden they're talking about
yes,
things in a way that they
exactly.
would never
Exactly.
talk about it before.
Exactly. Beautiful and gradual. And then when you remember, like, if I don't know if you guys are aware, but like they, the Nisara Jasara Act was signed in like 1999 or something. This was supposed to happen, and then 9/11 happened. So some people have been in this for that long and longer, generational. It's like a generational, multi-generational war in a sense. So
Yeah.
when I'm reminded of that too, and and sometimes I meet people who are like, "Yep, I've been in it since then." I'm like, "Okay," it's like a little humbling. It's like, "Okay, remember," like it's just you know, it's
How many things do you think? Okay, because a lot of times I read stuff and I'm pretty much off Instagram. Like I maybe check in like once a week and check my messages, but being off of it means I'm really way far out of the noise. Like I just don't even really pay attention to much that's going on unless someone tells me something. But sometimes I'll see stuff on Substack or like read things and you get excited because you're like, oh my God, they just launched a med bed plan in the Japan ministry. Like this was going around social media. And I was like super excited and I was about to post it, but I am someone who's super skeptical and like always does my discerning duty. And so I did some research and it was a fake thing going around social media.
Ah,
And it made me so like it just like made me so sad because you get those moments
oh
where you're like,
yeah,
oh, but then
it,
I also I think sometimes it's like planted to get people's
it
wheels
is.
turning.
Did you guys see the post? Trump himself posted, yes, it was an AI video about med beds, but Trump posted it on his account,
yes.
an AI video about med beds. He also posted on his account a video about how all vaccines are bioweapons, literally.
Yes.
So for those paying attention, it's like he didn't accidentally do that. He knows it's not even him, it's the military, but they know you know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah, they are seeding some of those things to get people to because you have to accept it. It's like change is hard for people even if it's good. You know the people that you tell like taxes are going to go away and then they're like how's that they find a reason for it to
Yes.
be
Yeah.
negative. It's like that's a
Yes.
lot of the collective. So it's late, yeah, they're seeding it.
Yeah. I mean, even with the like currency change, that's been in the ethers for
A
20
long time.
years. Like there
Yeah.
were people buying currency 20 years ago and talking
Exactly.
about
Yeah.
it, reevaluating. And now you see like the way that it's actually going to happen. We would talk about it and be like, it's kind of like, oh, people are saying it's going to happen this week, but there's nothing happening in the collective to make you see that. But now, like you said, it's like now, like I really think the tariffs were a way to like push things and like push the currency valuation. And you see all these conversations with Iraq and their banking and like all these things that are happening that you're like, oh my God, this actually is it because like we're seeing all these things. But I think sometimes it's hard to discern like, and I'm curious what you think about like some things that are on the world stage right now that you're excited about that you know to be true. And like also the things that like what are the kinds of things that you think or do you think there are still things playing out from the old plan, from like old dark agenda. Like, do you think data centers are part of like an old plan and they're still happening because that hasn't been cleaned up yet? Or if like everything's been cleaned up, like what is the thing that it's supposed to be showing us? Like, what part of disclosure is it? Or like, are they going to be transferred into something that's like more positive? We see these things where it feels like people are getting excited about forward movement and then it feels like, what the fuck is that? Or like, uh, I've had people come to me about the daylight savings thing, and it's like, that's the wrong direction to go to be passing a bill to be like stuck in daylight savings instead of standard time. Like, I'm curious what you think about those types of things and like what is part of disclosure or supposed to be like helping people see things and what is part of something old, maybe, or thoughts.
I don't know, Jen, do you want to, I feel like we're probably aligned on
We
how we
are.
feel about it. Like it's like I mean I think I'll speak briefly and then I think you should share too, but it's like I feel like I just look at it like those posters when there's like different images in there, and if you kind of like blur your eyes, you see one image and you can see another image. It's like almost like the world stage is that right now. It's almost like watching different timelines. But one is kind of a disclosure awakening. So data centers like or bringing on people from what is the OpenAI guy or on stage or bringing like, Palantir on
Brockovich.
stage. It's like they're showing all the yuckiness from the dystopian timeline because people still need to wake up. I mean, how many people have we been talking about this stuff too for so many years? It didn't want to pay attention, so now they need to pay attention. So they're really putting it in front and center. But it's not happening. We're not moving into that. But people need to see it and realize it and say no to it. But that's not for us because we know. So it's not happening. So just because there's talk about those things, no, they're not. We're not moving into that timeline, in my opinion. It's disclosure. And what's actually happening is everything is getting a reset, like the inversion is flipping. So I would say that's like the briefest way I would say share my opinion on it. I could talk to more detail, but yeah, what do you feel, Jen?
Well, the one thing I'm excited about is like I feel like we've been waiting for so long, um, is Fauci. I was really excited to see that actually going. I think didn't you ask that, Amanda? Like what do we see that's happening right now? That's like that to me is like, okay, this we're finally seeing this somebody being now it's not maybe going the way that we want it to, right? Or that we were like,
Well,
but it is essentially. Go ahead, Mia.
that's the thing. It's like they do it in a way so that they get people to go, why are you arresting him? Nothing is happening.
Right.
Oh my gosh,
Right.
you're all bad. They are all bad. And yes, they will. Then we'll move into the part of the movie with the tribunals that already happened, right? So it's like it's just
Yes.
but that people don't see that yet. They're not supposed to. They're supposed to be outraged. So
Yeah. And that's fine. I'm fine with that. I don't feel super outraged, but like what I saw was like yes. Like I think you shared at me and I was like fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji because I was like yes, like we're finally starting to see this mainstream, something that we all knew was like coming. That is not the same guy. That's just not the same guy. Um it's not really Fauci.
And so it's like there's so many ways you could look at that too. For us, we're like, that's a military operation. It's not the same guy. And for other
Yeah.
people, they're like, everything is fake. It's always been fake. But that's true too. It's like
Yes.
it's like quantum. disclosure, and there's like depending where you are and who you are, you're gonna see a different piece, but it's all for you. It's for that person's awakening. This is for our process. It's so interesting.
I feel like it's looking through a kaleidoscope.
Yes,
You
totally.
know what I mean? You're like, whoa, and then you take it down and you're like, oh, that's what's being presented. But then you like put it up and you're like, whoa, like it's not something that we can necessarily completely make sense of. With the data centers, like you and I, Amanda, had a whole conversation over this because Amanda was like really worried and feeling there was one like going in close to where you are, right? Is that what it
Yeah, I was
was?
just curious. Like,
Yeah.
I
What is
actually,
this about?
there hasn't been like too many things that have swung me off my
Eat,
center of
right.
late, but it is one of those things where I'm just like trying to
Make sense of it.
make sense of it because I'm watching them go up. Like I'm watching them be built in the area where I live. And so it's like not some fake thing, I'm literally watching them be built in the neighborhood. And so you're like, what is the long-term plan here? Like, is it going to change into something? Is it going to,
It's like I see
So,
it as like things are either going to be they're going to be repurposed or they're actually something else, and they're
yeah.
highlighting it this for disclosure.
yes,
Oh, I see it.
I just pulled cards on it because I was like, and that's exactly what I got with Amanda, is they're making it look like something. They're visually showing us what's happening. And again, this is for us to get mad. Like we usually change does not happen until we get pissed, right? Like
You have to
even
go out
within
to bed.
ourselves.
It's
Like
true.
you have to be so pissed at yourself to be like, God, I'm sick of you. I'm sick of that behavior. Stop eating all those chocolate bars. Enough is enough. So it's like you have to get angry enough for you to be like, oh wow, what is going on? But I just
Right.
pulled cards and what I got was Treasure Island, which means like that is such a new paradigm card for me. That means that we're like moving in the right direction. Everything that we want is like right here, right now. Abundance is all around, but we got the chaos and conflict. So there's, like Mia said, it is like disguising almost as one thing, but that doesn't mean it's causing a lot of confusion.
Yeah. So like a lot of really cool things are happening too.
Yeah.
Sorry, I want to cut you.
Yes.
On that note, like I think some things, and I'm not saying that place, but some things could be other things entirely. There's
Yep.
so many but basically somebody in one of the groups I was working with, so someone I know um was saying we were talking about the new technologies coming in, and they said, oh, I work. It was like somebody in a group me and Honey were in or something, or we're leading. She's working in the factory where they're producing these free energy powered cars. So like nobody knows that. Where are they doing that? There's so much happening behind the scenes that we don't know, and some things are layered, hidden behind other things. It's just like a crazy, unprecedented moment. It's just
It is.
wild. So
Yeah. Can you share? Because I feel like Mia, you're really good at like finding the breadcrumbs that are being dropped in the public. Can you share some like things that you've seen recently that you feel like that's like evidence, that we're moving in the right direction and exciting?
yeah, there's a flying car image video floating around. I forget who makes it, but it's one of the big car makers, and they're saying it's going to be released before the end of 2026. And there are different. I was told there are different versions of that, and one of them is running on Ether, and also is like a quantum portal device. So I said like, oh my gosh, so it's basically like essentially how like essentially we will, or eventually we are going to have like personal portal devices where we don't need a vehicle, but there are also be things like that where in essence you could go from here to anywhere and anywhere in the universe in 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I comes to me when I see this car video floating around out there in the mainstream now. And then I think of that press release and that public speech and that executive order, one of them that the Trump administration did, where there's that military guy speaking publicly, and it's in the text about that we have time travel technology essentially
Yes.
and quantum technology to go from anywhere to anywhere else in 10 minutes. These things are fully public
You
on the
got
world
it.
stage from the administration, and most people aren't. It's just like they kind of
Yep.
can't absorb it. But I'm like, okay, here's this and here's that. They're literally saying that we have this. I mean, it's so exciting. And like I think if you just are still on the time in the awakening process where everything is evil and they're all bad, you're looking at them as that, so you can't really get the good from them yet. And I
Yes.
get that. But we're somewhere else. So we're just gleaning the, like you're saying, those little pieces that are showing me on the world stage. Yes, mirroring back that we are moving into this higher timeline, you know? So it's that's the thing. It's like, so I just try to remember sometimes I can't force someone to look from over here when they're over there. Again, they're a different kaleidoscope piece, you
Yep.
know? But there's
I
so,
Yeah.
saw this video on unicorns, and what was really amazing was like figuring out scientifically, because unicorns are known to be water purifiers, like even in the
yeah.
stories. And what was really crazy was I was like, well, how do you, like, I literally just Googled it. I was like, how do you take like a unicorn horn, plasma, because I've been doing so much work with like the ether or the plasma with the goddesses. Like a lot of goddesses are seen with wands or staffs. And that
Mhm.
has always translated to me as a tool to, you know, manipulate or move around, you know, the plasma, what we cannot see, right? Ether. Uh,
Yeah.
so anyway, it led me down this whole rabbit hole of how they are even using plasma and basically a tool that looks like a unit, like an upside down unicorn
Mhm.
horn to purify water. And that would
Wow.
get rid of all toxins, all, they even said forever chemicals.
That's
What's it called?
amazing.
The PFAS?
Poof.
Yep.
That would all be
Yeah.
that would
Well,
all
yeah.
be, and I'm like sitting here like this is absolutely massive because this is
Unicorn
what I've
technology.
channeled. I have channeled for this. I've channeled this, and it's like, oh my God, this is happening. So it's like it really, and like it just it I feel like everything still so feels divisive, and I think people are still focused on, like I said, like we're purging so much, and I think we're getting to a place where like an emotional intelligence that we've not had before, but it takes a little bit, I think, for people to get there. So they might be really focusing on what isn't working. And I'll be really
Right.
vulnerable. There are times where, yeah, like it's like, oh man, I could very easily get there, but it's like it's so important for us to reorient, you know, and go, well, whoa, 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 whoa. This is where they want me to be, you know, this is where all the negative energy wants me to be. So I'm gonna like really reorient. And I do think that there is a lot happening, even though that's not what seems so accessible. But, and that's the thing is like,
Well,
it's out there and it goes right over people's
it's because it's this is the thing, and this is hard to say because people, you know, I feel like it
say
can
it.
potentially be offensive, but like it's for all of us too. So we can't see what's at a higher frequency than we are. We can only
True.
see what's resonant with us or lower. So that means there's stuff that I'm not seeing either, but also there's stuff that like why people might not see what we're talking about or just think we're crazy. It's all so that's why
Kaleidoscope.
yeah, kaleidoscope. And what I got about this time when I had my vision about what was coming 10 years ago was like the most important thing is to work on your frequency and hold the frequency of joy. And it's like, that's it. I'm not supposed to, it's like, that's the most important thing, you know? So I
Yep.
just come back to that because otherwise it's not accessible. Like heaven is all around you, but you're not accessing it.
Yeah,
Anyway,
totally agree. I'm
there's,
constantly saying like just because we move into this new paradigm, and I guess it is too, like what your experience of the world will still be a direct reflection of like
What you can receive.
your what you can receive and your vibration. And I saw this talk the other day. I think it's the woman whose research like kind of started the telepathy tapes, Susie
Oh,
something. She was doing an interview with Pam Gregory and I was watching it and she was talking about how she had this vision. Did either of you listen to the telepathy tapes?
yes, I did. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of talk in the autistic population about things that we talk about with the new paradigm, like moving into a frequency of love, moving into an energy where money will not be even around at some point. You know, like we're building bridges to that, but like that's where we're going. But she
And
was
they all
talking
meet
about
on
how
the hill.
she what?
They all meet on the hill. Isn't that
Yeah.
what it's called?
Yes. And they all meet, they all communicate with each other.
Like
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
telepath.
telepathically. But she was saying that she had a vision because she channels the astral plane that the like the frequency on the earth was raising, but
Mhm.
also that a lot of the autistic population was working to bring the frequency of love down through the
Yeah.
astral plane to the earth, which I thought was really beautiful. And they mentioned, which I'm curious your thoughts on this, ancient Lemuria. And I think the guy's name is Keone Hanalei, who does like a lot of research on Lemuria, who said
Well,
that Lemuria is not gone. It's just that humanity fell from the frequency of love. So it's
Is
like
he
we
on
can't.
yeah.
Gaia?
We've
What?
worked with him with Mercado Sagrado. He lives on in Hawaii.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Okay.
Hmm.
Do you feel that? Because I know we talk about like raising the frequency and being able to see things around us that we can't see right now because
Yeah.
we're not the same frequency. But do you feel that way about Lemuria?
I think it's almost like frequency pancakes on top of each other.
Mhm.
And yes, as
Mhm.
we shift, I do they believe, yeah, we will be able to, that's why we'll be able to see, connect with the other side more easily. I feel like Jen, you even speak to this better than I can, but in
Yeah.
short, I would say yes, definitely, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of it just it's like again the veil is thinning. And I talk about this a little bit like with what I've channeled with Celeste and like the frequency grids and all of that. And all of that is changing, like we're kind of coming back into this stabilization, which means um that we are becoming, it's like Mia said, it's the kaleidoscope because it already is here. It's just a matter of are we able to pick up that bandwidth of frequency and receive it. And Lumeria, it also reminds me of like Avalon, like Avalon was a really, a hidden gem. And I think a lot of these civilizations, when we talk about the fall, did they really fall or did they go into hiding? Did they have to go into like a shielded protective space for us to?
Well, I feel like that's the frequency dropping,
Yeah,
and so our
yes,
experience
yes.
is
So
not
the
seeing it.
fall of
But
the frequency, yes,
yeah, it's like, but it's
yes,
like, yes, it's still there. And as it rises, I think it's going to get, for people that are like, oh gosh, I got to raise my frequency. It's like, well, I believe it's going to get easier and easier because we're all coming up.
yes,
The more you work on that or tune to that or conscious of it, it's like faster. That's just what I.
yes.
I love that you just said that because that's so I have two questions. I know we're getting up to time, but I had two people submit questions and one of them was kind of exactly what you just said. So they said, that they appreciate my work on nervous system regulation. However, they notice the phrase, which is like what my podcast is called, living into the new paradigm triggers intense anxiety. It feels like a
Mhm.
heavy spiritual to-do list and pressure to constantly upgrade to keep up.
Mhm.
How can those of us who feel overwhelmed by the new paradigm language find grounding in the present moment without feeling like we are falling behind?
That's it. Find grounding. That's it. Bottom line, back to the basics. And like exactly what Mia said, exactly what I channel from Celeste is find grounding. Like what makes you like reorienting. If things feel overwhelming, come back to the basics, reorient, reground, and move through joy.
Yeah, I
That's
think.
pretty, and that can kind of feel overwhelming because that can be nuanced, right? Like, can we
How
receive
do I find joy? I'm not happy. I'm depressed. What? So it's like just
like,
simplify it. Like go to the park. Like you don't have the
yes,
ocean near you. You don't go. It's like we want to make it fancier. People are like meditation. That's boring. Like I want to go to the astral. It's like we get into all these fancy
yeah,
notions. And there is so much, and it's so varied. But like its basics is, or because it's like the best, easiest way, and it works. It's like meditation will get you tapped back into your rooted in yourself, going and putting your feet on the earth, the same thing, going, being in a natural body of water, whatever you got, however you can do it.
yeah,
That's what works. I spend a lot of time in outside in nature or just like quiet. I don't think people, probably you guys too, probably those of us having these conversations, it's like people don't know that, but that's what we do a lot to be, I would say to go, help us
okay,
be okay and shift through this or to raise our frequency. But we're not like, I gotta go raise my frequency. It's just like, that feels good. I'm gonna go to the ocean. I've been on my computer too much today, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think also it's like one, we shouldn't look at it as like something we have to do,
No,
like this
No,
like list of
it'd
doing
be
that we have
fun.
to like get
or
to,
obtain,
or like this
obtain.
like thing that we have this like place that we're gonna get to, and then like we're good. It's like Jen and I talk about this, like it's always a moving target where we're
Yeah,
going, we'll always be, and I think sometimes awakening or waking up or high frequency can spiritually bypass like life and
yeah,
emotional hygiene and like doing the things that we need to do. Like, yes, I feel like someone who's, has intuition about where we're going and like is living into the new energy and trying to hold vision. And I also have days that I feel like crap, or I'm primal screaming in my car because I'm pissed off, or like, like something like we're also just like human
Well,
beings having a human experience, and there's no perfection in that to reach,
right.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like feel your feelings. Don't push. That's not the way. That's not what
yes,
we're saying. It's like you have to feel your feelings and move through things, but also there's a difference. It's like I'm gonna feel this, I'm gonna experience this, and then I'm gonna like do what's good for me and love.
orient.
Like, what would you tell your friend to do? It's like tell yourself to do that. Like loving, like okay, maybe go take a bath, do something. It's just really
yep,
focusing. That's why I love Abraham Hicks and people, find problems with her and them and whatever. But really, at the end of the day, she's just saying like choose what feels good for you. And if you,
yeah.
it's not normal for most people.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, right? But I can see how it can be overwhelming and feeling like you have to do all the things. But I don't think that that's how I don't think that's, I mean, listen, I'm a mom of two kids. We homeschool. I'm busy. Like I'm busy. My day is not, my thought process isn't going to be like, I've got to meditate, I've got to do this. I mean, it was, but that left me, it was like, wow, this isn't going to work for me. I have to find bite-sized pieces for me to feel grounded throughout my day. And that's why, like Amanda, I loved like learning so much from you because it wasn't like you were like, just reorient yourself. Like if you're mowing, that is nervous system care. If you're out mowing the yard, like you're not just mowing the yard. One, you're outside, you're out in nature, you're making your yard look beautiful. And you're, you have the
Proprioceptive.
proprioceptive, you have the body mind connection, you're pushing, you're pulling, you're in your body. And so I think the more we can take off the, oh, I should,
Right.
and just like allow ourselves to be, I think is better. Like Mia said, like, what would you tell your friend to do? Man, you had a hard day. Like, go make yourself a cup of tea and sit down and just chill out or read a book. Like, what is your heart calling you to do in that moment?
Like
And I
really,
think,
yeah. And you have
yeah,
to guide yourself back to sometimes allowing yourself to feel like you could do that it's okay.
yes.
But that's
That's
part of
where
it
I
too.
think it gets nuanced.
Yeah, and I think some people that may be asking that question might be in a place where, to be honest, there might be things that need to leave their life. And that's
Yes.
part of this process. And that can be really uncomfortable to start to look at if it's like, well, I can't do anything for myself because well, is that supposed to be in your life? And some might be really complicated things, but it still might need to go, or maybe
Yep.
not. Maybe it needs to be recalibrated. I don't know, but I think I see a lot of people hitting those walls right now too, where they're like, it's just change is difficult, and it's hard to look at things that maybe have been in your life a long time but aren't aligned anymore, and maybe are the cause of like illness or dis-ease or discomfort or whatever. And it's like kind of a time where that stuff's getting really loud. So
Yeah. I think
so
it's
just
also like what you said at the begin. I think it was at the beginning or somewhere. You said when I had the vision 10 years ago, the most important thing they said was like to tend to your frequency. And I think that's
Yep.
what we come back to, like there is no perfect way to live into the new paradigm. And when I say that phrase, I'm really just meaning make choices to orient in the direction towards where we want to go. Like
Yep.
move towards the vision, orient yourself to solutions, not problems, like maybe that includes some nervous system regulation every day to grow your capacity, or maybe it includes some mental hygiene to like rewire old patterns, or maybe it includes some emotional hygiene because there's like stuff gunking up the works. And that's different for me every day, like what I need. But it's kind of the same thing that I tell people who are studying their astrology or human design, or like now I'm talking about Matrix of Destiny, and people are like, oh my God, or like it is a lot, but it's not because we're supposed to do every single thing. I like the way that
Yes.
I teach is like a massive buffet. I'm like, take what works for you. Like, what's your perfected year and what's your moon doing and like what do you most need and like pull, even when I do a reading, they're dense, but I'm like pull three threads from this reading and like go play and then come back and like look at three more. It's like I think sometimes like the world that we live in with the social medias and all the things, it's like we have to get up in the morning and do like 45 things just to
Yes.
be okay. And I do think, like Mia said, I think it's going to get easier. Like med beds are going to come. There's going to be like support that is, and the world is not going to be working against you at every turn, and that's going to make it easier. But it's also like being gentle with yourself and spacious and kind and just like orienting yourself towards the vision that you want and joy and ease and like as much as you can, and then processing things when they feel funky.
Yeah. What I've channeled from Celeste is we're moving away from the human doing and really embodying the human being. And so, like, even that simple orientation, am I doing meditation because I feel like it's something I have to cross off my list, or am I doing meditation because it's allowing me to come back into my being? And if
Which is
that's
unique
not
to everybody. Yeah.
right, if that's not meditation
Okay.
that day, maybe it's a cup of tea or it's a walk by the ocean or it's a swim in the ocean, then that's your human beingness, you know? So I think like just asking that small question, is this human doing or is this something to help me be like embody my human being
Yeah. I
and
think
like really feel that?
a lot has been falling away for that purpose too, even like COVID. I think that was like
Yeah.
a spiritual purpose of that for people to get comfortable not being in the grind so much, and starting to unplug for that because that's not where we're going. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, last question. Will there be back and forth energy of the new paradigm, kind of like when planets move signs and then go back into previous sign? Will we get to taste it, see it, feel it, and then it's not fully formed and present? My sense is perhaps that might be, though, as with others still navigating this new landscape. I mean, I have felt like it's just going to shift. Like right now, it's like there's a huge amount of crumble and disclosure and like funkiness still that's like being cleared. And then there's like peeks through of the new paradigm, and we're just gonna kind of go like this till it levels out and like goes the other direction. I don't necessarily feel like we're gonna dip in and then be like, that's taken away and we go
Yeah.
backwards or something.
I think right now it could feel like that. I think right now as an individual, it can feel very much like, oh, this is new paradigm and like, oh, this is old paradigm. This is new paradigm. Oh, this is old paradigm. But like I could also see like maybe on an individual
And that's
level
I think that's
like
a
that.
frequency thing,
Yep.
right? Because
Yep.
that would be if your frequency is trying to adjust to this and settle there, but
Yes.
so yes, it would feel like that.
But
Hmm.
I agree with that, Amanda. It feels like, okay, that it looks like this right now, but here's new paradigm, new paradigm, new paradigm, new paradigm, and that's like this will just fall away and right. So like that I get, but as an individual, it could feel very much maybe back and forth, like
Yeah.
dipping out.
And I think it also depends how much people have invested in the old
Yeah,
the matrix paradigm, and not to feel shame around that, but it's like, okay, do you have a job with an investment firm or whatever, but you're kind
correct.
of awake or whatever it is. It's like that will be maybe a more bumpy ride for those of us who have left behind a lot of those things already. It's smoother and our frequency is able to stabilize more. So it's like stuff like that too.
Yeah.
I literally said that the other day. I was like, the people who like are really, and people who are really identify with their identities that are rooted in like the conditioning we've been
Yeah.
under for so long,
Yeah.
those people will struggle the most. The people who are already kind of pulling their tentacles out of a lot of that stuff will potentially have an easier ride of things.
Yeah.
Well, was there anything that I didn't cover that you guys wanted to say?
I think just hang in, like it's coming. It's coming. We're all going. And back to the basics. Back to the basics. Am I human doing or am allowing myself to human be? And that's what I'm going to end with.
Yeah, I mean, I just would say invite you all to look for the evidence in the
Yeah.
3D, to look at through like a strategic lens, if you could do that. Like look at like if everything was happening for you and everything was messaging to help people to wake up or help you to open up to new paradigm or to move into that, either let something go or let something new in, then what is the meaning for you? That's kind of how I look at what's happening on the world stage. And then it makes it really fun because I'm like, ooh, this is that and that, so make it fun. That's my
Love it. I like
I
that.
love
That's
that.
that's a good way though to look at it though, especially if you're
yeah.
feeling like overwhelmed. It's like, whoa, how could I like a puzzle?
Yeah.
Hmm. I love that. That's a great way to end. I will drop both of your links below, but I know, Mia, you have Mercado Sagrado coming up in Topanga. Yeah. Do you want to plug that? And also, would you please come to Texas? I can't keep going to California to participate, but I want to every time. I appreciate your invitations, but I would love for you to share about it so people can make it if they're nearby.
Thank you. Yeah, we're doing a kind of more intimate version pop-up at Kinship Station. They're in Topanga Canyon at the Pine Tree Circle. So this is like really fun and kind of new because it's open to the public. It's free. We'll have about 20 creators, good food. Hetty from Kinship Space is like just beautiful and already like well curated. So we'll have the artists that she already supports, the artists we're bringing in, and then it's also to launch um, part of the pop-up is a celebration to launch a 3-month residency that we are doing with Kinship. So we'll have a number of different artists that will be showing their work for 3 months there. We'll be releasing the whole lineup soon, but one of my favorites and just like really good old friend is Milena Silvano from the UK. She makes really beautiful sheepskin clothing and other things. So she'll be taking part and it's going to be really fun. Yeah, it's September 19th. And if you can't make that, then just pop in to check out the artists for the next 3 months at Kinship too, or just go visit them anyway because they're lovely. So yeah, thanks for letting me share. Excited
That's
Yeah,
about it.
awesome.
and I really do think you should come to Texas. Have you ever thought about doing an event
Yeah,
here?
we have thought about it and talked to people there. We just haven't like the fully aligned location hasn't popped up yet. So I just take that as it's not quite time yet. But if you have any
Yeah.
ideas, we should chat because yeah, it's definitely an interest and we have talked about it. Yeah.
Cool. I feel like it would be really well received out here. So, Jen, do
Yay.
you have anything you want to share about work stuff or plug,
I mean,
promote yourself?
I'm finalizing my membership, which is called the Rose Legacy membership, which is kind of an immersion. You'll work with the dark goddesses. I'm building it as I go instead of just fully making myself crazy and trying to do everything. So it'll start as like a lower investment. And as the temple gets bigger, the price would go up. But right now it's the dark goddesses and you will go on journeys with them. It's really immersive. There's rituals in there, there's practices in there, there's journaling, card pullings. I know, I was like, is that a Medusa shirt? That is my girl Medusa. I love her. So I really was hoping to get it done by the end of August. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait till September till we get clear of the eclipse portals. And I know Amanda would be like, yeah, don't do anything right now. So that
Wait.
that feels good. Wait.
I think,
I think that's
I
exciting.
try not to like fear monger any of the dates. I think we can do anything anytime, honestly. Like
I
it's just
know,
about
but
where
it
we're at.
feels
But
good.
yes, it tends to be like maybe don't get like surgery on a full moon eclipse. There are definitely things I would be like, maybe don't do that.
Like a hard no.
A hard no on that one.
But yeah, I think it'll be ready by September, which is really exciting. I've been working on this for like 8 months.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm really proud of myself and I'm really excited to see it come full circle. And I think that's really about it. I'm loving how everything, my word for the year was anchor. And so I'm just really loving how everything feels more anchored for me in the direction that I want to go. And um, yeah, that's about it. Even
It
though it's
just made me think of my word for the year, and I was like,
what was your word?
My word was juicy because I was going into a Venus year and I was like, oh, it's going to be so good. And then I caught my solar return and my balsamic moon, and I was like, okay, maybe not.
Girl, I told you my Venus year was not ju I mean, it was juicy in other ways. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
getting there. We're moving in the right
yeah,
direction.
exactly.
I'm gonna squeeze all the last juice out of like August, September, October before my birthday
Yes.
in November. Although she's going retrograde soon, so there will be that. Let's see. I only have, well, I'm teaching a Matrix of Destiny workshop next weekend, I think, which is like a new system I've
Exciting.
been poking around. I'm still like deciding how I feel about it, but I'm like enjoying it so far. And finishing up Feng Shui Summer, which is for you guys on Substack as well, on my paid side, as well as in membership. That's what I got.
It's been
Thanks so
great.
much for
The feng
joining
shui.
me. This was so great.
This
Thanks
was
for
fun.
having
Thank
us.
you. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
you're
It
welcome.
was really fun to connect with you guys. Yeah.
Same.